What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video, and in this one we are looking at how Krishna and Jesus Christ are connected. Hinduism and Christianity link. This is a very interesting title to me. I'm very excited and fascinated to dive into this one. But before we do, if you guys happen to enjoy the video, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. Also, in the description section, there's a link where you can support the channel by becoming a member, and you will receive exclusive benefits that I think you guys will enjoy.
The more you associate happiness with curiosity, the happier you'll be when your curiosity is satisfied. Welcome to the Happy Channel. It's TRS Clips. I'm assuming you grew up Christian?
Yes.
And Christianity has a similar yet very different outlook on God and heaven, like when you compare it to something like Hinduism. I have a few Christian friends where I've discussed Hinduism in detail with them, and they're very open to learning about it. But the fundamental question that they ask is also often related to demonology. When you talk about deities, when you talk about God, versus the Christian understanding of God, where God is the Almighty. When I asked this question to the Tantra expert Rajashi Nandi, he said that in Tantra, it's believed that Parabrahm, or universal God, is so advanced that it possibly almost doesn't even care about human beings, but the deities are there to help you. Now, you're someone who was raised as a Christian. When you came to India, did you have some kind of relearning to do in order to absorb this concept of what deities are? And say if there are Christians watching this, what and how would you explain what deities are and how is it related to God? Or are these sort of demons? Are they angels? Is it a version of something related to demonology? Like, how would you go about explaining this? Because I feel it's a fundamental philosophy that needs to be broken down in this episode as well.
I think to answer that question, I have to start off by saying that there is reality and there are structures that people create to assist them to connect to reality. So a religion, in Sanskrit often we use the word sampradaya. So a sampradaya is a particular way of doing things. There are particular rules, there are particular attitudes, and like the Pushti sampradaya, they follow what Sri Mahaprabhuji Vallabhacharya taught, and following those rules means that you are part of that Pushti sampradaya.
And the goal is always spiritual evolution?
The goal is always spiritual evolution. Now, different people, different sampradayas will have quite possibly different goals. So the goal of the Pushti sampradaya is Lord Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. The goal of the Shaiva Siddhanta is Lord Shiva. The goal of the Ganapatya Sampradaya is Ganapati. So the goal of Christianity is Yesu Christa, is Jesus. There are different sects, different religions have different goals.
So you're saying that within Hinduism, there's actually multiple different religions as well?
Absolutely. And Vimalananda himself...
That's a very interesting concept to think about it. Within Hinduism, there are multiple different religions that have different goals and like a different set of rules, I guess, to live by, I assume is what he was saying. And I feel like with Christianity also, I feel like there's, I guess, so many different people interpretate Christianity in a different way that gives them a different set of rules to live by in a sense as well. So this is very interesting. Okay.
Never liked the word Hindu. He said, it's a Persian word. And why should we be defining ourselves as, in a Persian way? Hindu, of course, is a corruption because the ancient Persian and Sanskrit are close together, but the Persians use H, whereas Sanskrit uses S. So instead of saying Sindhu, they said Hindu. So that word Hindu is really Sindhu. That's the Indus River. So the people who live around or beyond the Indus River, they called Hindus. Vimalananda preferred to think of himself as a Vedic, someone who was following in the path that comes originally from the Vedas. So Agora, for example,
and in this, he might be using some concepts that I don't fully understand since I've never actually studied Hinduism. So there are some concepts that he's saying that or some names that I'm not 100% understanding. I'm getting the gist of his message. Just when it comes to certain names, some of them don't click in my head.
And Tantra, they emerge from the Atharva Veda. There are 4 Vedas, and the Atharva Veda is in some ways, the youngest Veda, but in other ways, it's even older than the other Vedas. It comes from paths that are not that are not mainline to the Vedas. So, a sampradaya is a sect, a religion. Vimalananda believed, as do I, that what's more important is reality. The religion, the sampradaya is important, and if you're in a certain sampradaya and you're following it, you should observe its rules. But he always used to say that he personally did not believe in sampradaya. He believed in sampradaha. And sampradaha means incineration. That you should burn down all of your concepts, burn down all of the limitations you have in your mind, and recognize that there is only one reality behind everything. In the Vedas, they say, ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. There is only one truth. But those who know truth, every one of those individuals will describe it in different ways because each individual has a different perspective on truth. Each individual has a different perspective on reality.
That makes sense.
So when it comes to me, for example, I never, the Christianity, the religion with all the restrictions and I never had much of an affinity for that. I had a strong affinity for Jesus of Nazareth, for the Christ. And I developed at an early age a personal relationship, which I've maintained up until now.
You're still connected to Jesus Christ?
Absolutely. He's my...
I am relating it with him like so much because to me, I feel like I'm a Christian, but I don't believe in like Christianity in the same terms as a lot of people believe in Christianity. When it comes to a lot of the things in the Bible, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't agree with, because in my head, I'm like, how can a God of love and a God who cares for us this much do these certain things? It doesn't make sense to me. And there are things that conflict with each other in there as well. So there's things I'm just like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that. So definitely believe in Christianity, or definitely believe there's a God. Definitely believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in love. But there's a lot of things in there that I'm just like, And then I feel like the way a lot of people interpret the Bible or Christianity in certain ways is just, they take out terrible things or evil things, and then they think they're doing things in the name of God, and they're just doing absolutely horrific things as trying to force people to convert, as judgment, judging someone for the way they live their lifestyle, or like it just, I don't like it. And I'm like, there's no way a God who supposedly loves me more than my parents love me, right, could look at this and be okay with this. So I'm like, I believe in Christianity, and I would classify myself as a Christian, but I just interpret things differently, I guess. But that's just me. So I understand what he's saying.
Relationship, which I've maintained up until now.
You're still connected to Jesus Christ?
Absolutely. He's my Kula Devata, my Kula Guru. Kula means family in this case. Kula means many things. But in this case, it is the religion of my of my kula, of my family, of my physical ancestors. And as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said once to somebody who was considering changing his religion, he said, "Can you change your father?" So it's like, that's something that even if I don't focus a tremendous amount of attention there, that will always be present. I will always acknowledge that. And Vimalananda himself was a devotee of Jesus Christ because he believed, as do some other people here in this country, that both Christ and Krishna were amshas, were portions of the Rishi Maitreya, and so that they're both avatars. They're sort of like brothers or cousins or something. So for him, worshiping Jesus and worshiping Krishna was almost the same sort of thing, because he also did not regard sectarian worship of Krishna or of Jesus as being important. He regarded having a personal relationship with both of those as being important.
I'm a part of something called YSS, the Yogoda Satsang Society, which is Yoganand Paramahansa's school. And we worship 6 gurus, of which 2 are Jesus Christ and Lord Shri Krishna.
Yes.
There's many Hindus who get offended that I place a photo of Jesus Christ next to Krishna, and there's many Christians who get offended that I place a photo of Krishna next to Jesus. How do you explain it to people who get offended with these concepts? Because everyone's kind of living in a world now where they think, no, my religion is superior to your religion, without understanding what reality truly is.
See, and I absolutely cannot stand that. That's also a concept that I don't agree with, where it's like, a lot of people say if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you're not going to heaven. But there's so many places that have different religions, and they're born and raised believing into this religion. Society kind of teaches them the religion in that region. Their parents believe in this religion, and so forth and so forth. And I'm like, there's no way that my God, a loving God, a God that supposedly loves you more than your parents ever could, that just because like you were born in a different region that didn't teach that religion, you were born believing something different. There's no way that because you were born believing that he'd send you to hell. Because that it doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. So I'm like, that don't sound. There's just certain things in my head that I'm like, that don't sound right. So I don't think any religion's superior to any other religion. I think everybody has the right to believe what they choose to believe. And that doesn't mean anybody's beliefs are superior or inferior to anybody else's. If you truly believe in something, I believe that that's truly amazing. And if you choose not to believe in anything, I think that's amazing as well. But I don't think you should be condemned because you don't believe a certain way someone else's believe, or you don't believe in the same God another person believes in. That doesn't make sense to me. It kind of rubs me the wrong way. But they're very respectful and understanding of everyone's beliefs, no matter what you choose to believe.
Would you like to dive a little bit?
I mean, it really does depend on who I'm talking to. So if I'm talking to someone who is very much tied down to their sampradaya, to their sect, whether it's Christian or Hindu or Muslim or anything else, or Zoroastrian, I've spent a lot of time with Parsis and Iranis, I recognize that trying to explain precisely how I see things may not get me anywhere. So if they need to feel that I'm a Gnostic or a kafir or a heretic or something, I let them feel that way. But if it's somebody who seriously wants to understand that, I try to explain that, Jesus made it very clear that there was one reality. And Krishna also made it very clear that there was one reality. Krishna, and even in this country, there have been times when Vaishnavas, followers of Vishnu, and Shaivas, followers of Shiva, have fought with one another, have killed one another, because each one of them said, my devata is the most important. It is what is most important, in my opinion, is to recognize that for every individual, there is a particular path in a particular incarnation that is going to work for them best. For many people, it is one devata, one God, one guru, one direct path. For some people, it is not so much one as having more than one. That doesn't mean having 20 and having your attention divided among those 20. That means having a direct connection to whoever it is you're having that connection to. And if that connection is one that you can honestly say to yourself, being very calm and very introspective, that is genuine for you, then that is genuine for you.
Thank you. Oh my God, I love what this. I completely agree with everything that this man has said. I am totally on board. I'm in complete agreement. I feel the exact same way.
For me, if I sincerely believe that the supreme reality has ultimately no name and no form, no qualities whatsoever, that it can take on any qualities that it wants to, then I can certainly feel when I am worshiping Jesus that I am indirectly worshiping whatever other devatas I may have a relationship with. And
oh my God, it's because I think the same thing. I have these same thoughts. And this is just me. And I'm not saying I'm right in my thoughts, but everybody got their own path. I guess this is my path, and this is what I believe. Because I've always questioned. I'm like, what if we're all like worshiping like the same God? Just different religion, but it's like the same God, and I guess human is just different regions that broken down to different gods and different religions. But what if like we're all praying to the same entity or the same God, same deity? What if in a way we all work? That's a question I've had in my head. I also had the question of because the Bible said Jesus made us in his image, but we all look different. So I'm like, what if God doesn't have like a set, like he said, a set form or set? What if he can be anything? And what if he's a certain, I guess for people who have that connection, for you who have that relationship, what if he appears this way to you, but to somebody else, he can appear this way? That's also a question I've had in my head. I'm sorry, I'm going on this rant, but these are just like, I feel like a lot of the things he's saying, I just really, really relate to, and I really feel, because I feel like these are a lot of questions that I've thought about, and because I feel like some people interpret Jesus as being white, some people interpret Jesus as being black, some people have said, I believe God is a woman. So, and I'm like, what if to each one of those people he is that? He doesn't have one true form. I'm sorry. This is not what this video about. This is just where like my brain just kind of, I don't know, all these concepts. Continue.
Worshipping whatever other devatas I may have a relationship with. And if I'm worshiping, and I have a relationship with certain devatas, like Ganapati. I lived here in Maharashtra for many years, and I have a direct and very genuine and sincere connection to Ganapati. But I personally, they are different externally. They are different in their qualities. They're different in how you worship them. Mm-hmm. But they are still manifestations of that one supreme reality.
Which people refer to as God.
Which people refer to as God. Now, the problem is sometimes that, let's say, Christians, they refer to God as Abraham was thinking about God. And so do the Jews, and so do the Muslims. And Abraham, certainly, to have created these religions that billions of people worship, he must have been quite a guy. But still, that doesn't mean that he was perfect. And he had his own limitations, and partly they were the limitations of the time he lived in. That was back in a time when sacrifices were happening. Sacrifices were happening in the Vedic religion also. sacrifices were happening everywhere. And that's why Jesus came along and said, I will be the sacrifice. You forget about all this sacrifice thing. And Jesus defined his religion very clearly and easily and simply. Number one, God is love. And number two, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. And remember that anything that you do is going to come back in your direction. I mean, he called it the golden rule.
Yeah,
do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And remember, he was explaining to people who did not have the advantage of abstruse philosophical thought like the people here have had for thousands of years. So he was trying to explain the law of karma to them. If you do to somebody else something that is violent, the law of karma is going to send violence back in your direction. It may not be today or tomorrow. It may be after one more incarnation or 10 incarnations, but that's going to happen. That's the nature of the universe. That's Newton's third law of motion. Action, reaction.
So these are playlists made especially for you.
I love that. I love it so much. Like, I'm legit. That video, that's the video I feel like I've been looking for so long. And I'm so glad that I got the chance to react to it, because that, like, because I feel like I haven't studied religion very much. I've only studied Christianity. I haven't studied any other religions. And I could definitely study Christianity a lot harder, but I do feel like I have a great relationship with God, with Jesus Christ. But he's obviously done a lot of studying, and for him to kind of say the exact same things that I feel, but put it into different terms, put it into he's more well spoken than I am, and it sounds like he's more knowledgeable about these different religions. But for him to basically along the lines say the same things that I think, it just, I don't know, it really, really, really validates, I guess, a lot of my thoughts that I've had. And so I truly, truly loved reacting to that. I hope that you guys gained a lot from it too. But this one, I probably gained the most from this video than any video that I've gotten a chance to react to. And I guess it may be selfishly because this is the exact way I felt for so long. He put it into words for me. But that's all we have for this. If you guys enjoyed that, check this video out next. Also, don't forget to subscribe and get a video a like. I'll see y'all on the next one.